Welcome to Happy Hour Holidaze, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurship, life stories, and business. We want to make sure that you can make your dreams come true. So get out, get inspired, get motivated, and make those dreams come true. I'm your host every week, Manny Febre, our co-host Sean Febre, and in studio today, we got a jack of all trades. She is a broker, a general contractor, running for school board member of the Hillsborough County, and Jalexian Enterprise and Construction are her business names. We have Julie Magill.
Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Magill. Like I said, I'm a real estate broker and a contractor, and I decided to run for school board. So
this is, yeah.
How'd you transition? Because, I mean, those industries aren't really related, education and, construction, real estate.
Exactly. It may be that I just had my second great-grandchild announced.
Yeah.
I have 6 grandkids, and I have 4 kids that are a product of public schools. My husband was watching a video I was showing him that it was a different format. I was actually fighting against construction services with the city of Tampa. And he saw it and he's like, I just saw this thing on TV about the books in the schools. You need to go fight that. So I went to a school board meeting. And before I left, he says, you should be on the school board. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I get to the school board meeting and there's a guy in line in front of me and he says, oh, are you running? And I'm like, okay, that's number 2.
You're kidding. So Julie was waiting for all the signs. And then,
I was.
So number 3?
Threw my name in and decided to run. And I was the only one, conservative one, besides the incumbent that was running. And then another one jumped in. So now the fight has become a little bit more difficult, but I'm determined and I know I have the right reason to go in.
So then you have an incumbent currently in that chair that you're trying to take over, right?
Exactly.
Because you're running against chairs, I believe. Or is it?
It's members. It's chairs.
Members, yeah.
Yeah. There's a chair of the board and that just fluctuates with whoever's. I don't know how they pick that chair, but it's one particular person I'm running against.
Is there like a seat number for it? Because
it's District 1.
District 1?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So District 1 is kind of the western part of the county. They keep drawing the lines differently, and I know there's reasons for that, but I keep trying to think, okay, what street is actually my district? But I've nailed it down pretty good. So it's mostly the western half, and it goes up to 54. So that whole area.
Now, the book issue you were talking about, what was the book issue?
The book issue is, and I have a printout with the most disgusting books in it, and these people will go up and try to read it in front of the school board, and the school board will tell them, oh, no, don't read that here, but yet they'll allow it in the school library. So there's a big problem with that. They're pornographic, completely pornographic, and there's parents that have been ushered out of the school board in other states with these same books and taken away by the security guard because it's too graphic for the school board. Well, it's in the school library.
So what they're doing is they're sexualizing children at a very young age.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I don't have children personally. Me and my wife don't. But, I don't think that's okay at like middle school level or even elementary school level to start learning about sex until the child is more developed.
Exactly. So high school, okay, I can understand.
Yeah.
Part of that, but still not as graphic. It's still not as graphic as some of these are. And they're also slanted to other, what do I want to say? Other persuasions.
Yeah.
And that's not okay with me. If that's something the family wants to discuss or a church wants to discuss with that child, that's one thing. Or that child decides this is what I want to be or do. I don't need a school telling him to do that. I don't need the school suggesting that. So that's where I draw the line as far as high school. Sexual education, of course, they need it. Okay, they've got computers in their back pockets. Yeah. They know everything anyway. Let's educate them a little bit. But the lower grades, no. There's no reason for it. And these people will defend drag queens and story time. Yeah. Where are we going? And this is craziness. Who thought we'd be talking about this 20 years ago? So the books, back to the books. This is what I'm fighting. And I get questions of, oh, you're going to ban all the books. Oh, DeSantis is banning all the books. Are you on the same plane? No, I'm not. Pornographic books. I don't care if it's a different type of family book. All right. We all know that there's different type of families. Yeah. But when it's straight pornography, no, I don't want it. But they're accusing me of, oh, you're going to ban classical literature. You're going to ban the Bible. No pornography. If I can't open it up in mixed company without being embarrassed, it doesn't belong in a school library.
Not only that, but essentially it is not the role of the educators to teach the children. Because listen, kids can't vote, they can't smoke, they can't drink, they can't go fight a war.
Right.
But they can choose whether they want puberty blockers or not. To me,
Correct.
that makes no sense. And these books are essentially guiding them in that way. And I hate the word ban because it's not a ban.
It's not a ban.
Okay, you could go to a store and buy it.
That's right.
All right, it's
That's
not
right.
banned from America.
Right.
It's just it's not in the curriculum. So that word ban is gaslighting.
It is gaslighting.
Is what I think it is.
And that's, even though I say I just don't want them in the library, no, all of a sudden I'm a book banner. No, I'm not a book banner. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
And as you say, it's they're trying to suggest, okay, I was a tomboy growing up. God forbid I was growing up in today's world, they'd be telling me to change my gender.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
I know.
That's crazy.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of I don't know about Hillsborough County because I've been out of public school for quite some time.
Yeah, me too.
But there's other states that are allowing this kind of curriculum to be taught and to be accepted by the parents. And unfortunately for those states, the parents are okay with it.
That's another question.
Yeah, which is leading to the kind of moral ground issue. Like, where do we draw the line?
Right.
Are we going to teach them, honestly, this is probably the biggest issue.
I mean, this is a huge
issue.
This is classic social engineering, where they're forcing this down the kids' throats, and you're thinking about it. I mean, they're not mature enough to pick a profession even in high school.
Exactly.
And you want them to have them pick a gender?
Yeah,
come on, man. These kids are just wanting to have fun. They want to play outside. They want to do sports. They don't want to be influenced on, hey, pick a gender.
Exactly.
What are you getting out of it?
Let kids be kids.
Yeah.
The world is hard enough. We don't need to keep suggesting things no wonder we have so much mental illness in young children.
Exactly.
It's this constant bombardment of all these indoctrinations that they want them to go through. But yet, 50% of our kids are not on grade level. Math, English, and science, they're so far below now. Are they going to catch up? Or are we raising a nation of morons? I hate to say it, but
it's looking like that.
It's looking like that. If we don't do something now, what's the next generation going to be like?
I think what the issue is that the school board is maybe getting their priorities mixed up.
Exactly.
Instead of educating on life skills and, I agree with math, English, grammar, social studies, history, I think is very important. But when it comes to, gender specific education, I don't think there's any place.
Necessary.
It is not the government's job to teach that. It is whatever the household, the nucleus decides to teach.
Let the family
take care
But
of
let's
it.
exchange that with, let's change out what they're trying to push down
gender
everybody's throat
studies.
with financial literacy.
Yes.
Why don't we do more financial literacy? Because half of the people that graduate from high school, and I'm one of them, when I first got into the real world, what's an APR? What's an interest rate? How do I pay my bills? How do I balance my checkbook? How do I go to the bank and open up an account? Please tell me something.
How do I pay my taxes?
Yeah, how do I pay my
taxes?
taxes? No, I'd rather learn that. Why don't you teach kids at a young age?
How to open a small business even.
Yeah.
Right.
Something,
right.
You know what it is? It comes down to that the education system has been created to generate a workforce.
Yes.
Not free thinkers, not individuals that are entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
They just want a bunch of people that are worried about something that is irrelevant as opposed to, hey, this is how you can actually be successful in life, because America is supposed to be a land of opportunity. But if you're raising children to be employees, well, then of course they're going to be pissed every time they don't get a raise.
That's
it's okay, well, you can go out there and do it yourself. John D. Rockefeller started a business when he was 12 years old, and he became the richest man in the world. And still to this day is considered the richest person to ever have existed, minus, the Egyptian pharaohs. But that is what the school board is. And maybe not just Hillsborough, but all school boards are focusing on generating a viable workforce as opposed to free thinkers. What do you think about that?
I do believe that. But I do tout vocational schools at the same time, because not all kids are college bound.
Yeah, right.
But that's the kid's choice. Okay. But you're right. We need financial literacy, and we also need electives. I don't know what the electives are now. Are they gender questioning?
They probably are.
Or are they shop and home ec and what we used to have?
Yeah.
it's a missing link now. It needs to, we need to scale back a little bit and just use common sense and say, hey, not every kid is college bound. Like I said, let's give them some other options so they don't work at Burger King the rest of their lives, And that's a big thing for me. And also the schools that they're closing, they could be turning those into vocational centers.
What schools are they closing? 5
this year now. They've closed Just Elementary School. You've heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Just Elementary School sits in West River, which is a very up-and-coming area. It's riverfront property. It used to be Blake. I don't know if you remember.
I know Blake.
Wow.
Yeah,
Blake is down the street.
Okay.
Stewart Middle is next to
I know.
But they
Just.
closed Blake?
Huh?
They're closing
no,
Blake?
it's next.
No.
to it.
Oh, okay.
But they closed Just, which is
Just,
a
which is next to Blake.
under-enrolled elementary school. Stewart Middle Magnet is right next to it.
I remember that one.
Okay, so they closed it because it was under-enrolled, and because that community was so enraged because those kids were shipped over to Tampa Bay Elementary or I think Dunbar or something like that. They used to be able to walk to school, and this is a low-income area. So now they've really screwed things up for the neighborhood. Neighborhood got upset, and now they're going to rebuild it for $70 million.
Oh, wow.
So the school is still sitting there, and it's not in bad shape. Yeah, the grass has grown up because everybody's ignoring it. Why not just remodel that school? Why are we tearing it down and building another school for $70 million, which being a contractor, that's an outrageous amount anyway. So and
There's
it seems that
there's some pip pocketing there, It's
I
like,
know there is
yeah.
because there's a certain construction
Yeah.
company that always gets those bids. I never get that. I never get requests for bids for the school board.
kickback is all that's happening there.
Well, look what just happened with the buses.
Which that's supposed to be illegal, technically.
It's supposed to be, but it just hit, I think, the Florida Voice newspaper.
Yeah.
That 4 school board members just took a kickback from the bus companies that they're purchasing new buses from. That's news. So this is facts. I'm not just speculating. They got a kickback from the bus company.
Is that quid pro quo?
It is. That
It's
is pay for play all day
100%
long.
illegal.
All day long. So
Can we name those school board members?
I can.
Well, I mean, if it's
I
public
don't want,
knowledge.
but I don't want to put her in any,
Yeah,
any
well, I
different-
mean,
Well, I have a target on my back now.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. So I don't want to put any big target on
It's news,
Joey.
and you can look it up. You can Google it. Anyway, there's a bus company that had the current contract, and another bus company came around, and I guess the buses are cheaper and safer. This is what I've read. So the first bus company offered board members money to vote them instead of this new company. So they split it in half, is what I understand. They bought half from the new company and still bought half from the old company. And then those members that voted yes for the old company got their kickback.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, and it's out in the open. It's like, it's so, I guess it's just okay. They think it's okay, but it's not okay. And that's what I fight on a daily basis because it's not okay.
There might not be enough people that know that story because this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Oh, yeah.
What was the newspaper that you said?
Florida Voice?
Florida Voice.
Something like that, yeah.
but when
I'll
we-
send you the link. It's amazing.
Definitely.
But when
wanna
we
know
talk
that.
about this is what happens in politics all the time. This is
Yeah.
why this system is so corrupt.
Well, it
and
goes all the way
crooked.
to Washington.
Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
all the way up to
Yeah.
Washington. This is not
goes all the way up to the Secret Service.
These are
Yeah.
not people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these are not people that are worried about their jobs. They're worried about where they're going to pinch their next penny.
Absolutely.
Instead of worrying
Absolutely.
about the American people.
So what's the goal
politician-
then? Once you get into office, because I feel like you're going to
Wait,
win.
she was about to say
Oh
something.
yeah,
Oh, that's
politician.
okay.
Once you get into office, what's your plan for I guess adjusting what the policies in the school board are so this kind of corruption is no longer in that?
The budget. We need to make the budget transparent. I want to know where my taxpayer dollars are going. I don't know about you guys, but I want to know. And then they keep asking us for more millage.
Yeah.
Okay. When I look at that budget and I see $220 million, I think it was a software program they bought. It was a social emotional learning software program. $220 million. And they're screaming that the teachers don't make enough. And don't get me wrong, the teachers don't make enough. They really don't. But don't keep asking us for taxpayer or property tax millage, which the teachers are paying as well. So it's kind of like you're going to tax them and then pay them more. It doesn't tax them more and pay them more. It doesn't make any sense. So when I get in there and I analyze this budget, that's where I'm going to find a lot of waste and fraud. And I'm probably going to make a lot of people really mad, but we need to know where our money's going. That transparency will follow over to the board members because we're going to see why are they spending money here and there? Oh, wow. Did they get a return for that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of intricate things going on. I haven't been on the board before, so I don't know all the little inner workings, but I will find out. And I'm starting with the budget. Everything hinges on the budget.
Yeah.
Better education, making our schools better, paying teachers better electronics for all the kids, not just South Tampa kids, but East Tampa kids. So, it's all on the budget.
So then what is the budget for the school board in Hillsborough County currently right now? Do you know that number?
I do not. I know it was 4.1 billion the last time billion
cow.
with a B.
Yes,
okay?
with a
the
B.
last time I checked.
Because if they're spending 220 million
on one
software, that seems like a serious mistake with their allocating of funds.
Exactly. And why aren't we spending that
on the teachers? Maybe
the teachers. And why are we buying millions of dollars worth of textbooks that sit and never get used because they're buying software programs to take the place?
Insane. A great question.
It's insane. Stuff like this is what I'm going to go find out.
And Julie, for the audience, just a standard understanding of millage, just in case the audience doesn't know what a millage is.
Okay.
Yeah, what is millage?
It's your property taxes. It's a percent of the property taxes that you pay. But when they ask for that, it actually raises your property taxes. Whatever that is, a 0.05 or point. I'm not sure what they're asking for. I think it's 0.05. But it will bring in from the whole county like an extra $200 million. So it's a substantial amount. And as the higher your house is appraised at, the more you're going to pay.
Yep.
But you're paying for what? Where's it going? They haven't had a forensic audit in 10 years. We don't know where it's going. Well, we see where it's going part of the time, and it's not going in the right place. So that should anger everybody.
I can tell you, when I moved into my house a year later, my property taxes jumped by $7,000. Oof. Yeah, I know. It was crazy. But that's just because it got reappraised at a higher price, of course. And since then, it has been going up. But what is the government doing with all that money? They should be transparent, correct?
They should be.
I
think the government was designed to
serve the people.
Serve the people. Thank you. So if we're paying, we need to know what we're paying for.
Yeah, we're paying for them.
But yet it just gets pushed over here and pushed over there, and we don't know. We just continue to pay, and we got potholes on our streets. It's like, wait a second. It's not going in the right place. It's going in everybody's pockets.
Yeah, because the Tampa streets, I mean, you drive down Hillsborough County and the main parts of Hillsborough, Waters, I mean, they're not good.
Remember when the RNC was in Tampa, like maybe I think it was 8 years ago, and they rated our infrastructure. And they rated our infrastructure at like a C.
Oh, wow. Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
They put palm trees on the side of the interstate to make it look pretty. But you can't drive down the street. I drive a low-profile car, and I'm terrified. I'm driving Columbus. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Right by down Mary.
Columbus is terrible.
Please. And then I hit a pothole on a side street, and I actually sent the bill to the city of Tampa to pay for it.
Did they pay it?
They said, because it was not reported before I hit it, they wouldn't pay it.
Are you kidding me?
And I'm like, are you kidding me? The whole street is potholes, and I know those neighbors. It was right at the end of somebody's driveway. Yeah. You know darn well they reported it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm still fighting it because it was a $425 tire.
Oh, my God.
What kind of car you drive?
I got a vet.
That's what he likes. He likes
midlife crisis car.
All right, guys, when we get back, we'll continue the story with Julie Magill about the school board and what we can do. And what the biggest question is we're on this side of the fence. What about the other side and their questions on why they want to include some things in education that we think they shouldn't be there?
Exactly.
And we'll be right back. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and check out Happy Hour Holidaze on Instagram, Facebook, and all the reels that we have with lots of information, educational, inspirational reels. We'll be right back. And we're back with Happy Hour Holidaze. And we were just talking off camera with Julie, and she has a really cool website she owns that I think it's one of the coolest ones I've ever heard. What is it, Julie?
It's PresidentTrump.com. I bought it in 2013 for $9.
Wow.
I saw him on an interview, I think it was with Neil Cavuto, and he touched on, I might run for president one day if I need to. And I thought, yeah, you're going to. So I bought the domain, developed it into a website, and had it ever since.
So you developed it into like a full-fledged like President Trump website, right? It has like information, blogs, news, and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
try to stay current.
You've gotten death threats from owning that website, correct?
Yes. Over the years, I've had several, especially back in 2016 when it was that heated campaign.
I don't think 2016 is as heated as it is
Not
right
in-
now
not- it's
because
not,
they tried
yeah.
to assassinate him.
I know. I worry about it on a daily basis. I don't even open a lot of the emails that I get because I know I just don't want to deal with it. It's awful.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary, but I'm not giving it up.
No.
And I'll post every single day.
But you have had some offers for it to purchase it
In
too.
the past, I have, but I wasn't sure who the offers were coming from, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to give it to the other side.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that might have been where the offers were coming from.
Yeah.
So,
I got a podcast that you would be great on.
really
It's the Young Republicans of Polk County.
awesome.
Have you heard of them?
I think I have. Yeah.
I'm gonna pass your number along.
And also
Okay.
Tampa Bay developer with Greco.
With Garrett Greco.
Yeah.
Who was
nice.
He's the grandson of the mayor, or is he the
Yeah. Dick
Yeah, yeah.
Greco.
Oh,
Greco?
okay.
Yeah.
Dick Greco is part of my husband's family.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so
really?
his son has a very successful podcast as well called Tampa Bay Developers.
Wow.
And they talk all about Tampa Bay. So that would be another good one for you. And they get a lot of
That'd be
views
awesome.
as well.
So then do you know him? Garrett Greco?
I don't know
Yeah.
him. No, I knew Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he helped me get the speed bumps on my street. I went down and met with him. Yeah, he was cool. He had that open door policy, which I wish we still had. You know.
What was that? Open door policy.
If you wanted to talk to him, you made an appointment. You got in. Talk to him.
No way.
Yeah. Oh
Man.
yeah.
How
was
do
awesome.
How do all mayors not have that?
They should.
They should.
They're the mayor of our
Absolutely.
city.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the other thing. Our mayor, our current mayor, can say, "Oh, we're one of the top 10 places to live in the whole country." Really? Our kids are not even on grade level, and we have this much corruption that we can see, and it's out in the open. That's a question in my mind. And if we're the top 10, why do you have potholes like we have?
Yeah.
Our dad's a civil engineer. He's gonna hate this. The roads suck. Fix them.
So
Actually, that's what we went to school for was civil engineering.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Julie, what got you into real estate and also being a contractor? Like, I
Okay.
know those are your two main businesses as well with running for the school board member, but what got you into that? Like, where did it start from, let's say, college years
Okay.
to being a contractor and then a broker? I mean, it's really real estate.
How much time do you have?
We got all the
How
time.
much time do
we
you
want.
have? Technically, we got till 12 because that's.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got into real estate because I bought my house that I still have, my first house, for zero down. That was the zero down money days. Remember that?
Was it because it was one of the USDA loans?
No, this was just a investor who bought it. So I got it for zero down. And they used to have those wraparound mortgages. I finally undid the wrap, and now I own the house. I got the house for $60,000 back in '87.
Wraparound mortgages?
Wraparound mortgage meant that you paid the one guy that sold it to you, and then he paid the person he bought it from.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of, he was in the middle, and I finally.
So it's almost like a wholesale, almost.
Kind
where
of.
They
Now,
have like an
like in today's
assignable
world.
contract. And
No, I didn't have that back then.
No.
It was basically, it was just a wraparound. I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was my first house. I was 20 something.
Yeah.
But once I did that idea stuck in my head. Wow, we can buy houses for zero down. So then I became a wholesaler.
Yo, wow.
Was plopping those bandit signs everywhere, hoping to God I wouldn't get caught. Made a good amount of money on that. Then when that market kind of fell, I remember 2008,
Oh,
that
yeah,
tank.
yeah.
Okay. Then
I
I'm
was
like,
out putting bandit signs during that time.
Were you?
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
I was
boy.
doing it with my investor buddy, and we were like, all right, we just go there. And I got stopped one time with the code enforcement.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had a whole crap load in my trunk. He goes, you know how much those are for every single one?
Oh.
He's like, go back and pick up every single one. I didn't do that. I just picked up
Isn't it
those.
just littering?
Yeah, they consider it littering.
Isn't that just
It's
like
a fine per-
$200? But if it's in your trunk,
But it was so
you're not breaking the
effective.
law.
That's right.
They were so effective. We
Yeah, I
got a
know
lot
they
of
were.
calls.
I would joke with my husband driving home. Watch, we'll get a call before we hit the driveway.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy fast money.
Mm-hmm.
It was. And then that tanked. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should sell real estate now. Get my retail license. So I got that. And then I started getting disrespected by brokers.
No.
It's like, I know more than you do because wholesalers knew it all.
Yeah,
We
they did. The ins and outs, man.
Right. So I'd be like, no, you're wrong. And I'd like, you know what? I can't talk to this guy because brokers think they're way up here and
Yeah.
agents are down here. So I went and got my broker's license. Then the market turned again and sales weren't so great. So I'm like, why don't we flip houses? So
It's a good
I would
time
have
for
to
it,
hire a general contractor. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I need to do this too.
Yeah.
So got that. That's basically in a nutshell how I got these 2 licenses.
So essentially, you were just cutting everybody out because you were like, they're taking my profit, they're taking my profit, they're taking
capitalism.
my profit. Capitalism.
And they also knew less. I mean, when you got the motor running, I mean, you knew more than them. It's like, why am I hiring this person and paying them this luxury fee when I can just, I mean, the schooling, I mean, I guess for the real estate and the broker, it's not as bad as the general contractor.
Correct.
As a general contractor, I know. It's
And now you're saying that you want to become a lawyer as well, correct?
I'm toying with it. I actually applied, and that's a whole nother story.
Because now you want to cut the legal fees out too. Why am I paying this guy?
Not really, because of being in construction, I got a couple of people calling me that, I've got a red tag. I got a violation on my house. And I'm like, well, let me come see what the problem is. And I started getting more people because I was helping people do it and I wasn't charging them an arm and a leg. So now I kind of got a following and I'm become semi-famous of code enforcement solutions. So I've been fighting construction services.
It's a good business name.
Yeah, I know. Code Busters or something.
Yeah, Code Busters.
Oh, that is good.
Sure,
right?
Code Busters.
But I go in and I video every meeting I have with construction services because they always come up with a different answer the second time you talk to them, especially the inspectors.
Do they let you do that?
They didn't want to. It's a public building, so I forced the issue. The last one I went to, the head of construction services is not a bad guy, but he depends on underlings that hate me. They say I disparage them. I call them names. I've never called them names. I just copy everybody on the emails that I send them so that everybody knows what's going on. And they didn't want to be videotaped. So I'm like, well, then leave the room. So there was a lawyer on the phone, like talking on the phone to the head of construction services. She's like, well, no, if those people don't want it, then she can't have the meeting. I said, well, no, they just need to leave. Well, they ended up leaving and I had the meeting with just the head of construction services, 47 minutes on tape of them explaining things, telling us what they're not going to do anymore, which is using Zillow to catch people. They would look at Zillow photos and say, you remodeled your house and you didn't pull a permit. Even if it was a kitchen remodel that didn't need a permit, it's a whole other aspect.
That's what they were doing?
But that's why I want my law degree, because I'll have a little bit more power behind it when I do stand up in front of the magistrate and say, hey, here's all the law.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's what they were doing. They were ciphering through Zillow and seeing if you remodeled your house, when you resold it, or more for investors, or you just talk.
I work for both, like people that are just trying to sell their house.
Yeah,
and that ad hits because real estate agents, what did they say? Knew everything, right?
Everything, yeah.
That's what they were capitalizing on. Oh, wait, new roof, new AC. I don't see a permit for that. Technically, it's social media. Technically, they have access to it, but it's not a good look for the city.
Yeah.
It's an entrapment. It's, okay, let me sit outside your house for sale. Oh, let me look. That's just wrong. If catch him in the act, if you catch a roofer putting a roof on and doesn't have a license, I'm fine with that. Go up there, cite him, violate it.
Yeah.
But for someone that's just trying to sell their house and you're making an assumption that all that stuff was just done. Maybe it wasn't just done. Yeah. Maybe that was done 10 years ago. That's past the statute. But they make that assumption, and that's where I got them. You can't make that assumption because someone just says everything is new, that it wasn't done 5 years ago. It's still new.
But do you need a permit to redo your kitchen?
You do not.
Or your kitchen or bathrooms. If it's in the same area, you didn't move any
It's
plumbing.
Cosmetics. Yeah. You don't need a permit for cabinets. You don't need a permit for countertops, granite, appliances, flooring, paint, trim, nothing. But
for plumbing, electricity, roofs, and pools, right?
And if you do 2 of those trades and you remodel your kitchen, now you have to pull an entire building permit. And that's in our building code.
Say that one more time.
Let's say you put a roof on last month and then you changed your AC because it stopped working 6 months ago, and now you just decide to remodel your kitchen. So if you do all this too close together, they consider it a remodel of the entire house and will make you pull an entire building permit. And if you've already done it, they make you get an architect and an engineer to make sure that you didn't take any walls down or that you didn't do anything that might affect the structure. And it's costing people thousands and thousands of dollars. Right when they're trying to sell their house, they get hit. Or right when someone just buys a house, it goes with the house, not with the owner. So that person that just bought that house just bought that problem. If the code inspector comes over and slaps the tag. Oh, it's awful.
No. But will title? It won't go through title like as a lien or anything.
Title doesn't know.
Oh, they don't know.
No,
so it just gets transferred. Oh.
It's a tag on the house. So unless that real estate agent, and how many times do they go visit a house that they're listing? No. So that could happen a week before closing, which it's happened because agents have called me, help.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're in the middle of a sale. We're closing next week and we got a tag.
What's the solution for that then?
Me. Me.
Codebuster.
Codebuster, yeah. Who are you going to call?
Yeah. No, I've looked up statutes and thrown them at them and said, hey, you can't do this. There's one, this is awful. It's on Davis Island. Beautiful home. The contractor's taken a lot more time to do it because she keeps changing her mind on things. Okay, it's normal.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, FEMA redrew the flood zone on her house. And now he's trying to remodel her garage, just tried to extend the permit one more time. They said, no, you can't. You have to pull a new permit. Well, if you pull a new permit, now it's going on the FEMA. She'd have to tear down the house. She can't make that substantial.
Oh, my God.
So I'm fighting that one. And I told him, you have to fix this. You have to keep that 2020 permit alive. Otherwise, that house will always be in violation. Wow. They can't ever meet it because it's past the 50% FEMA rule, which is another whole thing I could explain, but it's very serious.
Why does the government want to do this to individuals that are
That's the question of the century, because we don't know what the motive is.
Is it just to collect fees?
I don't know if it's collect fees. I don't know if it's to make someone desperate enough to sell their house, and maybe the city is
buying it.
Pay for play there.
The thing is that we're making our city look better if people are remodeling their house. Obviously, you want to do it correctly,
exactly.
But at the same time, it's like remodeling a kitchen. What is that doing? I mean, the roof. I understand you need a permit for the roof.
I get the roof.
Yeah, electrical, plumbing, roof, pools. Yeah,
and then
those
the outside
permits.
Structure. Sure.
Yeah,
but anything inside. That blows my mind. I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. And it's like if you look at how they write some of this stuff, it's like, let's say you got mad and put your fist through the wall, okay? And you go to spackle that over. Yeah. Oh no, wait a minute. That's actually something you need to ask them if you can do. That's inside your house. Yeah. So I got that kind of issue taken away because I'm like, I even asked the guy, construction supervisor, I said, don't you ever have to remodel or fix a wall in your house? Do you pull a permit?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. It's
I bet they don't answer.
They just smile.
Got me there.
Yeah. But
seems fascist.
That's why I want to maybe get a law degree in construction.
But is there also, could you be part of, like you're doing for the education, the board, could you be a board member for construction services?
Could you run for a different office?
Yeah, a different office? Or,
that would probably be city council.
Oh, it would be city council?
Yeah.
So you're trying to get your feet wet and then...
I don't know. I don't want to be a career politician. Yeah. I really don't. People will go into politics.
You're so charismatic,
I know. You got it. You got it. I mean, you're a great speaker. I mean,
there's no ums in anything you say. You're direct to the point and you know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, it's kind of hard to not see you in that position.
Yeah.
That's number 3.
That's number 3. Yeah.
That's number 3.
Oh boy.
But how are you balancing this? Do you have to do like a campaign and are you speaking and networking and all this? So
yes.
I mean, how are you balancing, you got a full-fledged enterprise and then you don't sleep, right?
Don't sleep. Yeah. No, it's tough.
Yeah.
I have too much on my plate, but if I do win the school board, I will eliminate a couple of those other things real quick so that I can concentrate on the school board. I want to go in there, make it right, and get out. I'm not going to be a career politician. I don't care about escalating on the ladder and getting rich. That's what people go into politics for. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. Look at AOC.
Oh my God, yeah.
AOC. She's set for life.
They go in broke and somehow
they get rich.
Multi-millionaires.
That's
Nancy
exactly
Pelosi's
the point.
worth like $250 million.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's insider trading and she's giving tips to her husband. And then some guy got mad and hit him with a hammer, but that actually did happen.
But Julie, you were doing something really generous with your first year salary if you do get elected. What was that?
I'm going to donate it to a children's charity in Tampa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm not going in there to make the salary. I'm going in there to help the kids.
What charity?
It's called Manny Land's Foundation for Children and Families. I actually established it because his wife is a widow now. He just passed away within last month. And he was very community oriented. He was a dear friend. And I thought, you know what? Let's establish a charity that I know where the money is going to go, and I know it's going to go in the right place. So I've actually applied for the 501(c) or whatever the nonprofit is, and it's coming down. So if I win, definitely that's going to be an active thing that I donate my first year salary to. I didn't say second and third because I don't know if these other businesses I have are going to tank because I have to spend so much time on the school board. I may need that salary the second and third year, but I don't the first year.
Yeah.
So, I got enough to sustain me. So I thought that was something that will prove that, hey, I'm going in it for the kids. I'm not going in it to get rich. I'm not going to escalate up the political ladder and become a multimillionaire. That's not the goal. And that's a lot of the goals of the other people.
How do you plan to engage with teachers, students, and faculty of schools to kind of hear their voices and make sure that it gets heard out there in the public eye?
I've already visited a bunch of schools, just running the campaign. And I see schools that have everything and they know their rep on the school board and others that have never seen them. So that would be just visiting the schools, staying in touch with the principals. What do you need? What can I help you with? That would do it. And then actually getting the community involved around the schools. That's huge.
What are those meetings that they have, school board meetings? Any parent is able to go?
Yeah.
Any citizen in Hillsborough County is able to go?
Yes.
And then they just voice their concerns and they each
You
get
have to
like
sign
60
up.
seconds or something?
You got to sign up to speak. But you can stand up there. I think you get 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. It just depends to voice your opinion. They cannot answer you. You're just standing up there voicing your opinion. Just like city council, they can't answer you. You can't call them out. But a lot of times the media will be over here. So I got caught on Channel 13 about the budget. It aired at 11 o'clock at night. By 6 o'clock in the morning, poof, you couldn't find the story.
Really?
So I pissed somebody off.
Yeah.
And the media is really good at hiding things they don't want people to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
And their handlers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, guys. When we get back with Happy Hour Holidays, we'll continue with the fascinating stories of Julie Magill. And we'll be right back. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and check out all our reels and our Friday features. Really appreciate everybody tuning in, and we appreciate the audience out there. Happy Hour Holidazers out there supporting us and almost getting us to that 1,000 mark on our followers on Instagram. We'll see you soon. All right, guys, welcome back to Happy Hour Holidaze. We're here with Julie Magill, who's running for Hillsborough County member. So we were kind of touching on what do you envision the future of Hillsborough County schools in the next 5 to 10 years with such an influx of people coming into the Tampa Bay area?
Exactly. So it remains to be
Hillsborough County.
Yeah, remains to be seen. So are those people with families? Do they have kids? Are all those people coming in a family of maybe 2 kids? So maybe some of those schools we're closing will need to be reopened to accommodate it. But if all those people are not, and they're all millennials that have dogs instead of kids, that's another question.
I
Holy
know,
shit,
right?
that's me.
Then are we going to keep those schools closed? And if we can't make the schools better, if we don't get people like me on the school board, and those schools continue to decline, are you going to see an increase in people that are homeschooling their kids out of fear? Safety is a huge factor with parents. If we can't make our schools safe, they're likely to start homeschooling. That's going to force more schools to close. What are we going to end up with? I don't know.
You think it's more the charter schools and the private schools? Because I feel like parents now are so concerned about what's being taught at school.
Correct.
And then also with safety that a lot of them are looking into doing private schools.
Exactly.
And now with private schools, I mean, people don't know about this, but I mean, I'm sure you do, Julie, but you can get probably about 75% of
exactly.
it,
vouchers.
Yeah,
The vouchers.
I mean, I know some people that make some pretty good money and they still got the voucher. So you're talking about,
it's not income specific anymore.
So are these private, schools now? I mean, are they really going to be making a lot of revenue compared to what they used to? But are they going to
Hey.
have the space in order to, because they're
That's the
limited,
thing.
Well, I mean,
That's the thing.
when it comes to private schools, what I think they would probably do is raise tuition so they could purchase more land in order to create more structures to accommodate
Correct, which
the influx of
Tampa
new
Catholic
students.
just did.
They did
I
that?
live right down the street. I drove down it the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're actually building like this huge wing. So that means they're getting more enrollment. If you
Yeah.
think about it, they're not going to be putting that kind of money into the school if they're not getting more enrollment. It's huge. I'll try to send you pictures of it.
But they're not. But
That's where our mom went.
but the
She went to Tampa
oh yeah,
Catholic.
no, she didn't. She went to Tampa
Bay
Tech.
Tech. Yeah, never
Oh,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, no, she.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom.
But I mean, the actual Hillsborough County School Board isn't in charge of the private schools, right?
Right.
There's no
They don't have a say.
on
No,
anything
not on
right there.
those. Now, charter,
Yeah,
they do.
they do. Okay.
But
And what's the
charters can
difference
do-
between the charter and the private?
And a
charter
magnet,
schools are
too.
still public schools.
Okay.
They just don't have to follow all the rules that normal public schools have to follow. They do their own testing. They don't have to follow all those guidelines. I'm not quite sure where that line is drawn, but it's different. And they are more appealing to some of the parents that are afraid of the public schools and what they're being taught. So charter schools are good. Private schools are good. We also have magnet schools, which are specific, photography or veterinarian things. I think those are wonderful. That's kind of going on that vocational angle. But, we don't have that many magnet and then they get filled up. So, there's a question of how is, in the next 10 years, how is everything going to meld? Are we just going to be magnet and charter? Do we even have any public schools left? Who knows?
Yeah.
Julie, you grew up in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
As a native of Tampa Bay, have you seen the rise of Tampa Bay or have you seen the fall of Tampa Bay in terms of Hillsborough County schools?
I think it got better for a while since I've been out of school because
Where did you go to
technology
school,
got
by
better.
the way?
I went to Dale Mabry, Coleman, and Plant. I'm a South Tampa girl.
Oh,
So you went playing high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, did. Of course, with the advancement of technology, schools became better because now we all have computers, and we didn't have that back in the day. Where I've seen it decline is in the last 10 years with all the indoctrination that's trying to take place. Software programs that are being purchased for social emotional learning. We're not focusing on the basics, math, English, science. We're not focusing on those like we should. So now I believe we're in a bad decline. That's why we need to get the school board changed so that we can start purchasing things that are going to mean things to our kids, that are going to help them academically and not socially and emotionally, which that's a whole thing that cropped up that it snuck up on us. It basically snuck up on
Safe
us.
spaces.
Right. Yeah.
Which I didn't have that in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, hey, listen,
Duck down under your desk.
bomb drill, run.
Exactly.
But going back to what you were saying, kind of a little sidetrack off the education, but why do you think millennials, this generation, is so
Oh, now we got to worry about Gen Zers.
Wait, but
Oh.
so against having kids? Like, do you think that they're more so selfish and they want their time? I mean, what do you think this transition happened? Because, I mean, past generations, it's all been about having a family.
Correct.
So is it selfishness? What do you see in this?
I don't know if it was so much selfishness, if social media plays a role in that, or did the teachers under our noses play a role in that for the ones that are just now graduating and just young, trying to buy a house, but have they been indoctrinated to not have kids? Have they been scared not to have kids? I don't know. Is it the economy? It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very expensive to have a child. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but there's a definite movement in millennials to have a small yard, a dog, and a happy family life and be able to go out and party and not have to worry about taking care of a kid.
I'm
it's
a
sad.
millennial without a kid.
Yeah. Selfish.
No, me and my wife just waited too long. That's
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because I've seen that. And I feel like even before you would see families of 4 or 5.
Right.
And it could be the economy playing a role in it, or is it too, well, we're having kids later on. So
True.
the energy level that you have to have for a kid, you're thinking, hey, you have a kid at 21.
Right.
You have plenty of energy. But now that the millennials kind of waited until their late 30s, I mean, it's a lot to handle.
That's not all millennials, though, because I have seen millennials with 5, 6, 7 kids.
But they're not the norm.
Yeah, that's not the norm.
It's not the norm.
It's like
it's great.
It's 2.
Because they're making up. If they're having 4 or 5, they're making up for the ones that don't have any.
I mean, all you really got to do is go into lower income areas where they're incentivized by the welfare program to actually have children, so they don't have to work, so they can collect from the government, because the government has incentivized lack of nucleus in a family in lower income areas. So,
but they're waking up to that. A lot of people are waking up to that. Oh, yeah. You see it. They're switching to become conservative. They don't want entitlements. It doesn't get them anywhere. They're seeing that. They're understanding that now. And that hasn't happened in a long time, but I've seen it. I've seen people interviewed and it's obvious. So hopefully that trend will keep going, and we'll have less people an entitlement.
A friend of ours, he told us a story where he was back in high school manager of McDonald's. Okay. And he was promoting this woman to get a $5 raise. And she said, hey, listen, if I get this promotion, I'm no longer going to get support from the government. So I don't want the promotion. I will work extra hours to make the same amount of money so I can stay on the welfare program.
See, that's bad.
I mean, this is something that is perpetrated throughout all low-income
because it's
communities.
It's familial. It's, okay, mom and dad are on welfare. Okay, well, then I need to be on welfare. Well, I'm going to teach my kids to be on welfare. It's just a chain reaction. Until somebody breaks that chain in that family and says, hey, I want to go to college. I want to be somebody. Then the trend will maybe change. But it's been ingrained in certain people for so long. You just live off the government.
Since 1965.
Exactly.
Since Lyndon B. Johnson.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
But since everything,
Lyndon B. Johnson was a vice president that became president, Manny, after the Kennedy assassination. I'm just messing with you.
You're dead to me. No, but look, as everything,
getting him back because he played golf horrible yesterday.
Right. As everything evolves, right? Is our school system broken compared to? It hasn't really evolved much since it first started. Yeah, since it first started. 1910. Are we teaching kids the best things to be successful in life? Or have we kind of gotten out of rhythm on what we should be teaching?
I think we're out of rhythm.
Because do we really need almost 18 years of general education with an additional 2 years in college to...
You mean 4 years?
Yeah, no, well, 2 years, and then you're kind of going towards your whatever you're going to do with industry.
Right.
So do we need that much general education, or should we be using that time a little bit more wisely to shape new Americans into... I think some of the other countries are beating us.
I know.
They are.
Yeah.
There's no thinking about it.
Yeah,
they are.
So is our education system broken at this point where we're not evolving, technology is evolving, but our school systems are teaching the same things that they did since the beginning?
Actually,
that's a good point.
I think that is a great take. It has not evolved since the early 1900s. It has stayed the same, even though technology has changed. Really, I think what would be an evolution of the education system is to have schools that are dedicated to certain industries. So let's say that the parent thinks, you know what, my child is astute. We want to put them in a business oriented public school, or hey, listen, my child likes sciences, so we're going to put them in a science oriented school, or hey, they like math, so we're going to put them in a math focused school. That way the kid can be honed at a very early age to become an expert by the time they've gone through the 18 years, or it's not really 18 years, right? It's 12 grades and then 2. So 14 years. And then you will get at the very end a very expert individual, because if 14 years goes
focused.
by, very focused, very identity focused. This reminds me of a Ethan Hawke movie, and I forget the other guy's name. He's a British dude. And the children are engineered for certain tasks.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's the best thing because the child needs to have a choice at the end, but once they become an adult, they can choose whatever they want.
That's right.
But if they are focused on just one specific thing, man, you could just produce a lot of very motivated people in certain industries.
That's taking the magnet schools and expanding on it.
Yeah,
that would be
schools, yes.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. When you grow up, you read books that you enjoy. You don't read books just because they're there.
Well, I read Goosebumps.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I read
you obviously enjoyed them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's what. Yeah, but I'm just saying in general, I mean, you're going to read about topics that you're interested in. Yeah, you're not going to read stuff that you're just like, oh, okay, well, I got to read this to do a book report or whatever it is. So, I mean, I just think that there needs to be like a little bit of a change in the school system to create better individuals so that we start winning again. Yeah. As a country.
Exactly. As a country. Yeah.
And I'm trying to find that movie that I was talking about. It was like in the 1990s.
So Julie, you know, there's a lot of talk about diversity, inclusion. What are your takes on that when it comes to the educational system?
I wish that word never existed.
Yeah.
We never had it before. We never had a problem. Yeah. It's divisive. I don't think it's needed. It's toxic.
Gattaca.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that one?
I think so.
What year is it from?
97.
97?
It's with Jude Law and Ethan Hawke.
I've never seen it.
Watch that movie.
I remember parts.
It's a really good movie.
Really good movie. Yeah.
Anyways,
Mr. Clark is a good movie. Have you seen that?
No. Mr. Clark. Who's in it?
The comedian that just passed away. What was his name?
Gene Simmons?
No,
he wasn't a comedian. He was an exercise guy.
He wasn't on Friends. Oh, I can't remember his name. But anyway, Mr.
Matt Perry?
Clark.
Matthew Perry.
Yes.
Matthew Perry. Yeah.
Yes, he plays a teacher coming out of. I think it was one of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
You see, he goes up to the Bronx.
I might have seen it. Yeah.
That is one of the best. I think that should be mandatory for every teacher to watch that movie before they become a teacher because he did the impossible. Yeah. He did the impossible. He went up to the Bronx, took a classroom that nobody wanted, no teachers wanted. Even the principal was like, "You don't want that," and he says, "That's the one I want." Took that classroom and they actually scored higher on the test than the smart kids across the hall. It's a true story. Amazing movie. That should be mandatory for any teacher that enters Hillsborough County.
You know what? Actually, I got a good question for you. Do you think children that are in recreational or competitive sports do better in school during the public school era before they go to college or anything? Because they have learned discipline and practice through those competitive sports than the children that are just, once school's out, that's it. They just go home and they can do whatever they want.
Or group
that's the problem. Do whatever they want. That's where a lot of them get in trouble. I think sports are wonderful because it's a team effort. Now they're learning to play on a team. They're learning, discipline.
And you get leaders out of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I love having sports.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
Kids.
Julie, we really appreciate you coming on. Yes. It's been great. Is there anything you want to leave to the audience? We always have like final word or final take that you want to kind of put out there to the audience. It could be motivational, inspirational, whatever you want to tell the audience. Yeah.
Vote for me. Vote for me.
Yeah. What day? Because there's one August 20th.
August 20th is my due date. That's my D-Day. That's if I don't make it on the 20th.
So it's not November 3rd also?
No, what it is 3 of us, and it's a nonpartisan race. So all 3 of us, whoever gets 51%
on August 20th
wins.
Oh, okay.
If nobody gets 51%, which is highly unlikely if there's 3 of us, unless I'm completely wrong, then it will be the 2 that go to November. So it's either me and Nadia or Layla and Nadia. Because Nadia's got a lot of popularity. I figure she's going to be at least one of the ones. So it's really between me and my running mate.
Okay, so August 20th, go vote for Julie Magill, Magill, right?
Yes.
For school board, Hillsborough County. Manny can't vote.
No, I'm Pasco County.
Yeah, he's Pasco. I'm going to go vote, though, because I live in Hillsborough.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. No,
well, now you live in, like, Pasco, right? Yeah, Pasco.
Yeah, Pasco County. I was over here in Lutz, but
you poor Richie.
It's Trinity, man. It's Trinity. It says it on my drive.
I like Trinity.
It's not too bad. It's kind of small. So yeah, man, really appreciate you coming on, Julie,
All right,
with
thank you.
with all your trades, having contractor.
Well,
and
also,
dealing with
can they donate to your campaign?
Yeah, they can.
Absolutely.
Where can
Julie
they
Magill
donate?
for school board. I have a QR code. Click it.
Is that .com?
JulieMagillForSchoolBoard.com. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So donate for Julie Magill. Go
Yes.
vote August 20th.
Yeah,
Yes.
and let's get her elected. So we can make some changes.
I'm voting
in
for
the,
you.
Wonderful. Thank
so
you.
We, so we make some changes on the school board that's
Yes.
much needed. And, we really appreciate everybody listening to our podcast. We're trying to bring in as many guests that are informational, inspirational, and motivational. So it's been great having the audience build up and keep tuning in because it's only going to get better. So like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you, Julie, again for coming on. And we wish you the best of luck. And we're definitely going to vote for you.
Well, thank you so much.
Unfortunately, I'm in Pasco
Yeah,
County. So
I'm going to tell my wife to vote for you.
but,
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you guys.
All right.
Peace out.